Hi, welcome to the Power of You. My name is Kat. Today I'm going to be talking about the difference between the conscious mind and the subconscious mind. And this is going to be important as we get further into the videos that I'll be covering in the future, especially in regard to mental health labels such as anxiety, which is probably why you're here, as well as depression. And then later on, we're going to talk about ADHD and different, like I said, other, psychiatric labels. So, the conscious mind is the volitional mind. It thinks, it knows what it wants. It has conscious dreams, desires, and goals. It is not time bound, so that it can think in the past and you can think in the future. It's also a slower processing system. So it averages about 40 bits of information per second. Also, it has a short-term memory, which only lasts for about 20 seconds. So those of you who are a little bit older, you remember you look up a phone number, and by the time you went to dial the phone number, you couldn't remember what the phone number was anymore. Luckily, nowadays, all of our phone numbers are stored in our phones, and there aren't any pay phones anymore. So that short-term memory isn't as obvious as it once was back in the day, shall we say. So the subconscious mind, rather, is always in the present moment. There's no past. There's no future. There's always just now, now, now. So that's going to be a critical factor when we start talking about some of these experiences that we're having with the anxiety, depression, etc. The subconscious mind runs all of the systems of the body. So it keeps our heart beating. It blinks our eyes when they get dry and they need to be, blinked, moisturized, etc. So we don't sit around and consciously think, I need to blink now because my eyes are dry. So it also runs that. The subconscious mind takes care of digestion as well. So these are all of the bodily functions that the subconscious mind just automatically takes care of. So the subconscious mind is very helpful when you say you're learning to drive a car. So when you first get in a car, you're very conscious of all of the knobs, the buttons. If you have a standard or a manual transmission, you've got to concentrate on the clutch and the brake and the gas, or even just in an automatic, you've got the gas and the brake and the turn signals, and so it seems very overwhelming when you first get in a vehicle and you're learning to drive. But eventually you get to a point where you're driving down the road, you're daydreaming, you're, rocking out to a song on the radio. And the next thing you know, you are at point B and you're thinking, how did I get here? So it's a very vast difference between from the time you get in the car for the first time and are learning how to drive to, a year or two down the road, maybe less. So that's your subconscious mind that's kicking in and getting you from point A to point B without you even really being consciously aware of what's happening. So our subconscious mind is very helpful, and it aids us in many ways. But it can also be not so helpful when we've got subconscious beliefs or subconscious programming that is sabotaging us, or most of the time, when we feel like we're being sabotaged or we're sabotaging ourselves, it's all about safety. So one of the biggest things about the subconscious mind is its primary function is to keep you alive. So if your subconscious mind perceives in any way that your life is being threatened, it's going to do whatever it needs to do or compel you to do what you need to do to stay alive. So if it has any type of perception that what you are doing, thinking, feeling, wanting to do is going to threaten your life in some way, it's going to step in and sabotage you in some way. So this is good if you're in a dangerous situation and suddenly you feel like I need to, run left or turn left and run, right? So it's part of keeping you alive. But if you are going for a job interview and there's some aspect that your subconscious mind perceives as threatening, this could kill you, you could say or do or even put off on a subconscious level, vibrationally speaking, something that gives that interviewer the impression that you are not the right candidate. So that's a little bit about the subconscious mind. Circling back to the subconscious mind keeping you safe, that can show up in a lot of different ways. And part of it showing up in different ways is it could be, I use the example of the job, the job interview, but it could show up in ways as far as weight loss or, sabotaging yourself with weight loss challenges. It could be relationships, that's pretty common. And it's all based on information that's been stored in the subconscious mind, subconscious programming. Now, when we are in utero to about age 7, we are sponges. We are taking in our environment. We're making judgments. We're coming to conclusions about things. We're creating perceptions about the way that we are experiencing our reality, our life. And in that time period when we are sponges, again, the subconscious is beneficial in the way that there are a lot of norms in society, right? There's a way that we're expected to act. There's a way that we're expected to behave and treat others. And there's things that we need to learn to be able to acclimate into our environment. So it starts at a very young age, like I said, in utero. We're learning to take in the information that we need to function and live in the environment that we're either about to enter into or that we are currently in after we're born. So these things that we have sucked in as sponges are not always the most empowering beliefs and thoughts. And if you watched my 3-part video series, I talked about how we have thoughts that we continue to think about and perpetuate, and then we have physiological responses to those thoughts. Well, if you keep thinking those same thoughts again, it's going to be part of your subconscious programming. So I hope I'm tying all this together well enough and that it hasn't just been a random rambling of information. But I am going to tie it all together regarding how this programming from when we were younger and when we're older too, we have life experiences, we have traumas and things like that. So I'll be talking about that in my next video about how traumas and different life experiences from when we're little or even when we're older outside of that age 7 time span can contribute to what we are now experiencing. Thank you for joining me today, and I hope you tune into my next video where I do go in more depth about why the subconscious mind matters and how it's related to anxiety specifically, and then also depression and other things like that. All right, see you in the next video. Bye.